Hello everyone. Today I'm going to share an informational word on addiction and the spiritual connection and what causes it. What is addiction? So according to the Wikipedia, addiction is a neuropsychological disorder characterized by a persistent and intense urge to use drugs or engage in behavior that produces a natural reward despite its harm and other negative consequences that it causes. It results in repeated use of drugs, repeated engaging in negative behaviors such as gambling, compulsiveness, overeating, sexual perversion, self-harm. So addiction also means to devote or surrender oneself to something obsessively. In James 4 verse 7, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be dominated by anything. And this is the ESV version. The great danger of addiction is the matter of surrendering and handing down oneself over to another power and allowing the will to become passive. Most often, individuals deny that they surrender, insisting, "Oh, I can stop at any time." But the chains that hold them until they become willing to submit to the power of the Holy Spirit to be released. God gives us free will, and if this free will becomes compromised by the flesh, then it controls the person. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, for all that is in the world, desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and the pride of life, it's not from the Father, but it's from the world. What are the spiritual roots of addictions? Whether it is drugs, alcohol, self-gratification, admiration, pornography, perfectionism, or negativism, usually it stems from a desire to escape painful or difficult circumstances. But of course, the addiction only makes matters worse. The signs of addiction can bring with it compulsiveness, dependence, habit forming, and instant gratification. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16 and 17, do you not know that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwells in you? If anyone defiles the temple of God, God will destroy him. For the temple of God is holy, which temple you are. For those in the helping profession, we can attest the damage that it causes the body and the brain. According to an article by a Christian psychologist, Dr. Archibald Hart, who explains that all addictions have an inner core, spiritual root, that as human, we all have a tendency to be naturally rebellious, prideful, and selfish. For that reason, placing desires and self-adoration and self-satisfaction as a top priority want. Dr. Hart also states that addictions are also a direct reflection or outcome of a life bondage to this rebellion, traditionally called sin. 1 Peter 2:11, Beloved, I urge you as a sojourners and exile to abstain from the passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul. Dr. Hart emphasizes that in order to obtain complete healing, one must address and remove all bondages that have taken roots. However, understanding that addiction not only have a cause and effect that is spiritual connected, but that it also carries with it natural consequences as well. Addictions create a destructive pattern in the individual as it forms spiritual idolatry, and this intercorrelates with testimony of individuals who often report not only that they see things in the spiritual when they are under the influence, but also feel their spirit leaving their body. This creates an open spiritual door that allows demonic possession or entry into their bodies. The aftermath of using often results or experiencing the low of the addiction, and that is manifested in depleting the person from their energy and also by controlling their attention as well as their behavior. It also creates a separation from the person and God, and most often becoming rebellious against God and lacking obedience to Him. The outcome is that the person continues to commit a repeated sin cycle of the same sin. Dr. Hart also emphasizes that there is a correlation between predisposition to addiction due to childhood abuse, rape, rejection, negative self-image, unforgiveness, guilt, or grief. Some vulnerability to addictive behavior comes from generational curses of addiction or addictive behaviors in the families that make them susceptible to using. These patterns must be addressed and dealt with during deliverance. The most important thing to do is to ask the Holy Spirit to show the person what is the root cause of their addiction in order to find healing and deliverance of their addictions.